All right, hello AP Econ, here to go over the micro unit 3 review questions. If you're choosing to do this, remember this is a optional quiz because of senior skip day. I'm trying to honor that, but if you want to do it and you want to or just have questions or want good review, then we can go ahead and do this together. So first one, competitive firm produces a product using labor and plastic. They're in equilibrium. The cost of plastic suddenly increases. Well, plastic is a variable resource. The more you make, the more plastic you need. And so if your variable costs go up, your marginal costs are going to increase as well, which is letter E. So number one is letter E. Number two, F&D manufacturing increases its inputs by 50%, but they get a 100% increase in output. That must mean they're experiencing economies of scale. That would be a good thing. They're becoming more efficient. Costs are going down. Number three, a farmer produces peppers in a perfectly competitive market. If the price falls in the short run, the farmer should continue to produce as long as the price is greater than AVC. Falls below AVC, you shut it down. Okay, as long as it's above AVC though, you keep going. All right, number four, you got the cost and demand schedules here. If the firm goes, now Q1 is profit maximizing. If you're anywhere other than profit maximizing, you know you're making a mistake. So if you go from Q1 to Q2, you're gonna lose profits because you're no longer at profit maximizing. All right, number five, you got a perfectly competitive firm and they're earning economic profits. They sell 100 units at a price of $20 per unit. If the marginal cost of making unit number 101 is $18, what's going to happen? Well, regardless of what your profits are before this, if it costs $18 to make the next unit and then you sell it for $20, you make an additional $2 from that, and so number five is letter B. You're $2 richer because you did that. Number six, in microeconomics, how do we define the short run? We define it as a period where some inputs, specifically usually fixed resources, cannot be changed. So number six is D. Number seven, we got all this math here. Okay, so your total fixed costs are 46. Let's start there. Now, here it tells the average product of labor is 5 units when 10 units of output are produced. That means you must have 2 workers. Okay, if you have 10 units and on average each worker produces 5 units, you got to have 2 workers. If workers cost $12, you're paying $24 in labor. So 46 in fixed costs plus $24, the 2 workers at $12 each in variable cost. You are spending a total of $70. Divide that by the 10 units, and that'll equal your average total cost of $7. All right, so that's number C for letter 7. Number 8, what are true of a perfectly competitive industry? Well, easy entry and exit, that's certainly true, number 1. Homogeneous product is number 2. Now, the firm's demand curve is perfectly elastic, but not the industry's demand curve. That's the market. Normal demand curve in the market, and the supply curve is not elastic either, so A, which is 1 and 2 only. So number 8 is A. Number 9, okay, you got this graph here for these questions. If the price is $6, which is right here, so that's our D equals MR. Okay, at that point, you are breaking even. Now, when we say breaking even economically, you are making normal profits, usually called accounting profit. That's what I call it. Normal profit is the same thing. And then if the market price is $10, how many should they produce? Well, at $10, if that's our MR and MR curve, MR in demand, you should produce 16. Of course, it's in thousands, so that would equal D, 16,000. So number 10 is D. All right, number 11, which of the following best describes the relationship between the ATC curve and the marginal cost curve? Well, as we know, if the ATC is going up, it must be because the marginal cost curve has already crossed it and is above it. Okay, so that's going to bring that average up. Number 12, under which of the following circumstances does a firm get economies of scale? B would certainly fit that bill if the number of the firm doubles its inputs, but output triples. That would be a good thing, so that's efficient. All right, number 13, we got our cost curves here, and if the price goes from $8, at which point they are breaking even, to $10, then they are going to D, increase output from 15, which is what they're originally doing. Now they're going to be doing 18, and they're going to be making money. That's where MR equals MC. All right, so it's number 13. Number 14, you got another graph here. If the marginal revenue is equal to P1, all of these are true except E, because at P1 they are breaking even. They're not going to enter or exit or change what they do. They're going to stay right where they're at. No reason to change what's not broken. All right, in the short run, a perfectly competitive firm should shut down when AVC is above price. That price falls below AVC, get on out of there. All right, number 16, Locotech produces toy trains, pays each worker. That's really irrelevant to the question. 5 workers can produce 40. 6 workers can produce 45, so that 6th worker added 5 trains. That's the thing that's most important here. All right, number 17, beyond a certain level of output, short-run marginal costs go up because you run into diminishing marginal returns. Okay, and so that's what B is essentially saying. That's why that ATC and MC curve and AVC all go up, diminishing marginal returns. All right, number 18, if there are many firms in an industry and each firm's product is indistinguishable from the products of all the other firms, in other words, a perfectly competitive market, their demand curve is going to be horizontal or perfectly elastic, and everyone's going to have the same one. Okay. Number 19, assume that a firm is maximizing short-run profits. Price is greater than AVC. Well, if you're maximizing profits, you got to be producing where MR equals MC, because that's profit maximizing, so it's got to be D. Number 20, when a perfectly competitive firm sells additional units of output, its total revenue increases at a constant rate. If the market price is $5, every time you sell another unit, you get another $5. Okay? You've got a perfectly competitive firm here. It's asking about average total cost of 2 units. Average total cost is average fixed plus average variable. So 50 plus 45 would be C95. All right, number 22, if a single firm can produce and supply an entire market at a lower unit cost than many small firms can, then long-run average total cost must be decreasing. You must be in that economies of scale zone. They're producing more and they're getting more and more efficient. All right, we got the situation here. Now, as we can see, they are definitely losing money. And so economic losses are being incurred, and in the long run, firms are going to exit, and those prices are going to come up. That's what happens in the long run. All right, number 24, perfectly competitive firm increases its price above market equilibrium price. What's going to happen? They ain't going to sell anything, right? Because you have thousands of other producers all offering the same price. If you raise it above that, you can't, no one's going to buy from you when they have so many other options. And the last one, which of the following is true if a perfectly competitive market is in long run equilibrium? Well, in long run, marginal revenue, which is the price, must be equal to ATC. That indicates that they break even. So number 25 is C. There you go. Hope that was helpful to you. As always, any questions on those, let me know. And until next time, behave yourselves.